All right, guys, we got another video for you, and this one is called 12 Rules for Life. And this is the book by Jordan Peterson, okay? Mr. Jordan Peterson. And this was an interesting one. I'm not going to give you all 12 of his rules. Some of them I think were more important than others. We're just going to talk about the three main takeaways that I got from this book personally, and what I think is going to be the best to share. If you want to know all the 12 rules, you can probably just Google it. Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules for Life, get the list of them. But I'm only going to talk about the important ones because I don't want to make a 1 hour long video here, okay? So, number one, and this is not the only book that I've heard this in. This is something I've heard in several different books, okay? Wake up at the same time every day. This reduces anxiety and depression. So when he says wake up at the same time every day, he means at the exact same time. The same time, like let's say, for example, you wake up at 9 o'clock. That's not the same as 9:40. That's not the same time. Okay, so for me personally, what I've been doing lately is I wake up at 10:42. That's just the random time that I chose. 10:42 is just my, that's what I feel good with, and I'm fine to wake up, later in the day. I'm more of a night owl. But that's not to say that I do it every single day, to be honest. Like, we're humans, we're not perfect. But I would say I wake up at 10:42, at least 90% of my days, Is it better to wake up 100% of the days? Yes. This is something I got to work on personally myself as well. So waking up at the same time every single day. He says, so Jordan Peterson is also a psychiatrist. And he says when he has his patients, the first thing he tells them, number one, okay? He says, wake up at the same time every single day. And if that means going to bed at the same time every single day, then do that as well. But make sure you're up at the same time every single day. This does so many things for the brain. It's so good for your circadian rhythms, okay? Your circadian rhythms will be on point. So you won't feel as fatigued throughout the day. It's just better for your life. It's better for your structure, so you know what time you're going to be up, so you know how to structure your day. It's just better in every single way. So definitely implement that into your life. If you're somebody that kind of wakes up all over the place, which is what I used to be, which is it's kind of depressing, to be honest. Like I used to do that. Like I used to wake up. This is years back before I started changing this. I want to say this like 7 or 8 years ago. I used to wake up at all times during the day, 6 p.m., 9 p.m., midnight. I didn't give a rat's ass, okay, when I was getting up. Whenever I felt tired, I would sleep, and whenever I got up, I got up. It was that was that. And I did that, for a long time. I want to say for at least 5 years I was this way, and just I woke up on every single time throughout the day, 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 24-hour clock, every which way. I woke up every single day a little bit later, until I did a whole, 360, waking up, it's just weird. It's just a weird feeling. Now that's the extreme. Not everyone's probably like me, like how I used to be with that. That's obviously extreme, to wake up at 11 p.m. and then just be working from midnight to noon and then sleeping. That sounds really weird to the average human, but that's something I did for a very long time. But that's we're going to the extremes there, okay? What I'm telling you guys is if you wake up at 10 some days and then 10:45 other days and 10:20 other days, try to get it to the same exact time every single day, okay? Number two, assume that the person you're talking to knows something that you don't. And it's interesting because in the audiobook, he says it that way. He's almost yelling at you. He says, assume that the person you're talking to knows something that you don't. And he yells at you in that way. He's just because if you assume that the person you're talking to knows something that you don't, you're going to be listening better, okay? And you're also going to be with an open mind. You're going to be with an open mind, and you're going to be like a sponge. You're going to try to absorb that information, okay? Just assume whoever it is you're talking to might know something that you do not, okay? So listen closely, absorb the information, let it sink into you, okay? That's another main point in this book. Be a good listener. Number 3. This one is kind of, kind of an out there one, but let me read it and then we'll talk about it. Aim to be the person at your father's funeral that everyone in their grief and misery can count on, okay? Strength in the face of adversity. That is very different than the wish for a life free of trouble, okay? So aim to be the person at your father's funeral that people can count on, to basically lean on, okay? To kind of lean on you a little bit. You're that strong rock that people can just lean on, and it's your own father, okay? That's what Jordan Peterson is trying to say here. Be such a rock that even at your own father's funeral, you're the guy to still lean on, okay? Aim to be that guy. Aim to be stoic. Aim to neutralize your emotions. Aim to be like a mountain, okay? Be like a mountain. So what does that mean? Like when somebody hears me say, be like a mountain. So this is everything obviously we talk about is always easier said than done, okay? I'm not saying, oh, snap your fingers and do this and that. And I'm not saying I'm perfect in any which way either, okay? But be like a mountain basically means, think about how a mountain operates, okay? When it's raining outside, the mountain is just rooted. It's rock solid. It doesn't care. When there's thunderstorms, there's snowstorms, there's avalanches, people can shoot at that thing. He is rock solid. The mountain is unmovable. You can't move the mountain, okay? He's just rooted. Okay, so aim to be like that mountain where life can throw all these curveballs at you, and all these seemingly negative things can happen, and you find a way to keep your chin up and stay level-headed through it all, okay? This is the ultimate goal here. And like I said, it's easier said than done, okay? This is easier said than done. You can't just not care about anything at all. Some things are gonna obviously get to you, but you really just wanna feel the emotions of that thing, whatever it is, whatever negative thing that maybe happens in your life, you wanna feel the emotions of that thing, but then you also wanna be able to let go and move on quicker, as quick as possible, okay? As quick as possible. You kind of wanna let it sit, come into you, and then just be that mountain, okay? Just be that rock. Just be rock solid, and don't let these things kind of drag you down for longer than they need to. For example, like, I'll just give a quick example. I'm not gonna say any names. Let's just hypothetically say, I'm not even gonna give that example because it's actually somebody that I kind of know. He might watch his videos. We're not going to give that example. I don't want to make anything, personal or anything like that. But, just negative things are always going to happen. Okay, negative things are always going to happen in life. And you basically have to trust yourself to be able to cope. Okay? Trust yourself to be able to cope. And at the end of the day, realize that negative emotions are never going to kill you. Okay? And you can be a rock and you can be a mountain just by deciding to be one. Okay? Just by making that decision that these things are not going to negatively affect you, in the way that they would normally negatively affect, just the average person that hasn't done the spiritual work, that hasn't done the that doesn't have the awareness, okay? So you really want to get to that point where people look at you. Let's say, for example, people look at you and they cannot tell if it's been an amazing day or a terrible day. They can't tell if you've had an incredible year or a terrible year. You're always just rock solid. Your poker face is always on, and you just don't let things bother you. You don't let the little things bother you because you know that these little things are always little. Now, I'm not saying that your father's funeral is a little thing, okay? Let's not, misconstrue the, I don't even know if that's a word. Let's not like, get carried away here. That's not what I'm talking about, okay? Like now I'm kind of going through a different, path or topic now, okay? So we've gone to that, but now I'm talking about just the little things in life that kind of sometimes throw us off center. None of it is really anything to be upset over. For example, like I always like to say, there's only 3 things. Actually, there's only 2 things that are really actually bad. Only 2 things. Everything else is like a petty problem. Like it's just not a big deal. We make it more of a big deal. There's only 2 things. And one of them is serious illness, whether it be cancer or some other kind of very harsh disease, okay? That's one thing that's really, really bad. And then death, okay? Serious illness, death. Those are the 2 things that are really, 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 really bad. Everything else can go either way, and it's all based on perception, and you shouldn't really let those things throw you off center. Anything other than those 2 things, you should just be completely okay with handling and get to a point where you're not going to be on these emotional, roller coaster. I made a video one time on my channel about the emotional roller coaster, with the ups, the downs, the sideways, going this, that. You don't want to get on an emotional roller coaster where you're just like, your emotions are so high, so low. You always want to be like on a very steady roller coaster with your emotions where you don't have these extreme highs and lows. And we're going to talk a lot more about that in future videos as well. So be on the lookout for these videos that I'm going to make, and be on the lookout for more of these book reviews that I'm going to do. Not book reviews. They're not really book reviews, just book summaries, let's call them, where I talk about, the most important things I took out of, each book that I read. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. If you guys have anything you want to challenge me on, drop a comment, like the video. And if you're not subscribed, then subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one.